Welcome to the very first Vend Raleigh community chat. We are so excited that you're here. Yay! For those of you who don't know me, I'm Amber Smith. I am the owner and leader for Vend Raleigh, but just like the rest of you, I'm also a business owner. I own Amber Foster Smith Photography. If you don't know me, I'm Amber Smith. I am the owner and leader for Vend Raleigh. Guys. But just like the rest of you, I'm also a business owner.
You have to meet the computer.
You have to meet the computer. Okay, you guys, lesson learned. All of my guys on the call, we have to meet Facebook.
I don't have, wait, us you're talking about? I don't have Facebook on.
Hold on, let's try this instead.
My Facebook's not open.
Wait, us you're talking about? This is a learning exercise.
It's all good. You always wanted to listen to yourself in surround sound, right?
I just heard myself way too many times in surround sound. This is awesome. Hold on.
If you'd like to edit your comments, now you can. Now you heard it, now you could change it up a little.
Okay, I still hear it. Okay, I don't hear it anymore. Do you guys?
Nope.
Okay, I think we got it. Nobody else hears this in surround sound now? Oh my gosh, I don't know. I must have had it on a crazy window. Let's try this again. Hey guys. This is what it's all about. Like, we're keeping it honestly as real as possible. We are all just trying to make it through the day. But let's try this again. You guys, I am Amber Smith. I am the leader and owner here of Vend Raleigh, and we want to welcome you guys to our very first Vend Raleigh community chat. We're so excited. We have a couple women from our community here, as well as two wonderful ladies who are going to share some experiences with us tonight. But like I was describing it to you guys earlier, this is just really about all of us getting together and having an open conversation. The idea for community chat started when a whole bunch of us from Vend Raleigh were getting together, the community leaders and the advisory board, and we said, you know what, we are sick and tired of all of the things going on in the media and inundating our emails and the web every time that we log on to social of saying, hey, you have to do this. You need to do this in order for your business to survive. Like, I can't take any more 5 easy steps for this, join my webinar and do all of the things. Like, I couldn't take it anymore. And so the joke was that we said, we have to come up with something different. And I said, I want to talk to my girls. I miss sitting around a table and having a discussion with my friends. So this is kind of what this is all about tonight. So from our ladies from the community, do you guys want to go around real quick and introduce yourselves and just tell us your name and your business, and then we'll dive into a little bit more about you guys in just a bit. Who wants to go first? Cam, you want to go first? Because you're right below me. So
Cam or Kim?
Kim.
Oh. In my screen, I'm next to you, so that's why I was confused. Like, but Cam is below you, which is why it was throwing me off. What's up? Kim Sigginson. I'm the owner of Warrior Tech OCR, the obstacle course racing and ninja facility in Morrisville. And we're in the process of opening a second location in Raleigh. Yeah, that's me.
What about you, Melanie?
Oh, okay. Hi guys, I'm Melanie. Sorry, I'm not dressed to par. My husband keeps it freezing in here and I have to bundle up. So I'm Melanie Smalley and I am an Instagram business coach, and I help small business owners use Instagram for their business to get more visibility on what's going on in their company. It's a lot of fun. I love it. It's a passion of mine, and that's what I do.
Awesome. All right, Melissa, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm a blogger, and I've just recently started doing Facebook Lives to help small businesses so people can know how they can help small businesses during this time.
Awesome. And what about you, Laura?
My name's Laura, and I own Adventures in Bloom, which is a handmade boutique in downtown Cary, and we do craft classes, primarily metal stamping and jewelry making, and we host about 30 local makers in our store. And we're currently closed.
Awesome. I know, right? Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to talk about this. Yeah, Kim understands how you feel about that, right? We're all like, none of us here are essential, right? So we're all closed. All right. And now for these lovely ladies who have been helping me behind the scenes get this very first one together. Miss Camy Kennedy, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Thank you for having me on the call. And I love to see new faces and people that I probably haven't seen for a while. I am a life coach and mindset coach, and I help high achievers and perfectionists have breakthroughs in the areas of health, wealth, and love. So I'm super excited just to talk about mindset, because this is the time where stuff is always really, really coming up for us.
Yeah. All right. And I'm Miss Audrey too. Hey, lady.
Hi, my name is Audrey Priel. I am an authentic family wedding and mitzvah photographer up here in the Wake Forest, Roseville area. I was also a teacher for 14 years. And so I'm very like type A, like to be detailed and planned out. And so this whole COVID thing is like, what is happening?
Messing with us.
Yeah, so that's me in a really tiny nutshell.
A really tiny nutshell. I love it. Audrey is also our community leader for our professional photographers. So we're excited that you guys are all here. So this is where I want to start. Ladies from the community, kind of tell us, pop up, feel free to go. How have you guys been doing? Like, what all has been going on with you over the, Kim, your face, it's priceless. What's been going on with you guys over the last month? What are you guys struggling with? I know if you guys haven't already watched it, Governor Cooper's press conference this afternoon, I literally was like, oh, the whole time, which I know has some exciting news for some sad news for others. So kind of tell us at least how things have been going for you since the onset.
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
I closed about 2 weeks prior to being forced to close. Our business is very social. We usually host classes with 15, 20 people, and people usually hang out in our store for a longer period of time, 1 to 2 hours with people they don't know, and they're like this close, and they're all touching the same stuff, and it just made me really nervous. So I just decided to just shut it down earlier than most people did, not thinking it would last quite as long as it is. So I shoot myself in the foot there, but I'm happy with that decision. I think it was the right one. And I'm actually doing the same thing now, even though technically I could be open right now. As of last Friday, we could have been open. But we're choosing not to because my staff doesn't feel comfortable. I have kids at home and I don't have anyone to watch them. And normally I'd bring them right with me, but I'm not comfortable bringing them with me right now. So we ramped up our online store. Right now it includes items from other vendors in my store, whereas previously it only had my stuff. So it forced me into having a better website. I'm starting to do live sales, which I absolutely hate. And it's like a huge learning curve, but people are really responsive to them. So we're going to keep doing that. And we'll just see what plays out. I think right now we're aiming for June. We'll see.
I'm muted. I am going to also let you guys know that while we are live on Facebook, we have a whole bunch of comments and stuff coming in. So I'm going to switch over my screens here so I can read them to you too. By the way, Laura Amanda says you did 100% the right thing and she supports you. That's scary having that many people in your space and touching all of the same things over and over again, right?
If someone was to get sick in my store, and this could still happen, which is why I haven't opened, like the media attention from that. No, thank you.
And your store is amazing. This is me giving you like a quick little shout out because I adore your store. It's amazing. So when it opens back up, everybody needs to go because why is there a bug in my house? I don't even live near Cary. And when I got to go to your store, I'm like, yes, I'm going again. That's happening.
Hopefully it'll be even better when it opens back.
I will. What?
Bugs. You open the window, right?
I opened the window because it's hot in here, and
But we all need to go over to Melanie's house because she's in a hoodie and we're all like, oh, I don't want to turn on the air conditioning. That's how this is rolling today. Oh my goodness. All right, Kim, I'm going to go over to you because you are in the same boat with lots of people that like to touch things in your facility.
More so even.
It does depend on how you look at it. Yes, people like to touch things, but you don't obstacle on the same obstacle. So we are single track when we do things. Only one person is using a weight at a time. So when we were closing down, we did a slow close and we're planning a slow open. So it's easy for us to clean stuff in between. That's not difficult. We have a gigantic warehouse of 5,000 square feet. So people don't need to be on top of each other. There's zero reason that we need to be fully closed because we can open responsibly. I don't mean before now. No one yell at me. I didn't mean before now. I mean moving forward. So we have that option. We're lucky it's a big space. We're lucky that things are spaced out. So that's the plan that we're working towards. We actually were in the facility today. We did a ton of cleaning and painting of walls. It gives a fresh look and it helps that perception. Right now, our biggest goal is to help the perception of safe for people. There's a lot of levels of safe. My level of safe is not going to be the same as your level of safe, and that's okay. So we're changing our mindset to understand that I need to work to get the person that wants to come in, not the person that doesn't want to come in, and we need to be okay with that. So it might not make sense to me of painting walls, but it could make sense and help somebody else to do that. And that's something little that we can do to get them in the doors. Changing policy, planning the painting. Cleanliness is something that we've always done. There's a sanitation company. It's getting rave reviews right now. It's called EnviroMaster. We've been using them for 3 years. We work with kids, and I'm not sure if any of you are aware, but kids are very gross. We love them.
True story.
Well, tell everybody, Kim.
It's the newest thing that should be on CNN tonight. Kids are gross. We deal a lot with kids. 75% of our members are kids. So flu season scared the bejesus out of me this year. They made it seem like it was gonna be humongous, which it might have. If something else didn't come up. Have you guys heard COVID-19?
It's this little thing going around, right? Yeah.
So for us, sanitation has never gone away. That is something we have always done. All of our equipment constantly, always, twice a week. So we're not going to stop that. So that's good. But it's reiterating that. It's communicating that with the public. I haven't seen the governor's press conference, so I have no idea what he did say, but we have an outside space in our facility as much as an inside space. It's a huge lay yard that we have with obstacles. We negotiated that in our rent when we opened 3 years ago. So our plan is on, and I haven't read, so maybe I have to see if it has to change based on the governor, but we're going to spend the next 2 weeks doing outside classes. So we're not going to host inside. So I think our mindset and the other gyms in the area, I think the mindset was May 22nd was to allow inside. So we're sticking with that. The phases were clear as mud. So they were not easy to figure out when we were allowed to open, when we were not. They didn't count in square footage. They didn't count in how many people. They were very, very, very confusing. But I think that's our plan.
So the update from Governor Cooper today, from what I watched, from what I took in, is that we will enter into phase 1 this Friday. Then
so we were right.
So same track that same track that everyone had assumed. So we'll start phase 1 on Friday and then tentatively enter phase 2 within that 2-week period, which I think puts us
we're cool.
Okay. What is it, May 22nd? Kim Danielle says, hey everyone, Kim, kids can be super nasty. Germs are everywhere. Yes, that's for sure. Joanne, Kim's business is Warrior Tech OCR. They are out in Morrisville, and they are also opening up a new location in Raleigh. Fingers crossed. Kim, what is the Facebook page for the new one in North Raleigh?
Warrior Tech Raleigh.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
making sure. If I let go of
I haven't been as
too many windows
active.
open, I can't catch.
One of my goals, I don't know, within the couple weeks or whatever, is to be more set up my consistent posting. We haven't stopped posting on WaterTech OCR. I've been very, very, very just present, I guess. We have a lot of people, a lot of community. So we've been very present. But I haven't with Raleigh because we were just so unsure about the fate of that
One thing at a time,
fabulous
right?
location. Yeah, I didn't want to start something and have to keep up with the same photo and no progress took place. Yeah.
One small thing at a time. Good news is construction is still moving forward. I mean, with that being an essential business, at least over the last month, at least
We
still have
had
that.
our big meeting, phone interview with the bank today. So
Oh,
we
you'll have
already
to-
got approved, by the way. It was a
Yeah.
6-month process. We got approved and then they reneged it because of this.
You'll
Great.
have to fill me all in
Good
that later.
times.
These are the serious struggles. Anybody else struggling with like banks right now and financials? I'm so tired of looking at numbers. I
Right.
spent 45 minutes on the phone with QuickBooks this morning because I was so mad at them. But that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. Oh, all right, Melissa, tell us how things have been going for you the last month or so.
Well, being a blogger, I'm not able to go to events because people aren't hosting events. So I've had to find ways to get businesses out there. So I was coaching through Camy, and she basically gave me the push to start to do Facebook Lives. And so I have, like tomorrow, I have one of the people from the Fayetteville CBB coming on, and we're going to talk about things that you can do in Fayetteville that doesn't necessarily mean having to go out and do other things. So I would love to have any of you ladies on as well.
Yeah. What kind of blogging do you do? Tell us a little bit more about it.
My blog is Adventures of Frugal Mom. Basically, it started out as a deals blog,
Oh.
but then it's turned into more of a lifestyle, and it's more now going into an empty nest because I'm one of the moms that has a senior that's affected by COVID-19, not sure when she's going to graduate, and it puts everything else up in the air because my oldest daughter is going to grad school in California. And she was supposed to fly in, her and her husband were supposed to fly in for the graduation. Now we don't know anything about it. So yeah.
That is so hard. I think the hardest thing for everybody is just the uncertainty. And, we've talked about for schools and it's like, well, what does this look like for us? I have one in traditional, I have one in year round, we're the discussion of, well, you have the seniors going out. What does it look like for them? What does it look like for the students the high schoolers who, I know I'm sure a lot of us on here can relate to this, that with the high schoolers, they're not taking, they have the choice to either take their grades as of the last day that they were in school, or they have the opportunity to improve them. And I work with a lot of high school youth through our church. And let me tell you, they're so not motivated right now because if they were happy with their grade when they walked out of school, they're like, what do I need to do anything for? The impact, we look at it as several of us here are moms and with our kids of that impact of not only us and our businesses, but also all of the other guys in our house, whether they're our spouses or our kids. And those seniors right now, like the girls that I've been working with are all lower classmen. And so, I always told them, I said, at least you have next year and you have the year after to figure this out. But those seniors, it's got to be just so rough. I can't even imagine all of that. Does that put a lot of extra stress on you too at the house?
Yes, it does. And she's actually dual enrolled because she's taking classes at the community college as well. So at least that's keeping her busy. But I honestly did not tell her that she could stop taking her high school classes because I knew if I had told her that, she would have not even gotten out of bed during the day. So she knows that she still has to do her high school classes.
I basically told my son who's in high school, I told him he had to keep doing them. But I did not tell my elementary schooler that her grades are not going to matter for the rest of the year. Not, shh, mom needs her quiet time. You need to go do your reading and your extra math and all of that stuff for today, right? Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Melanie, how's it been for you lately?
Well, so I'm one of two littles, as some of you are too. And that's the biggest challenge for me right now is trying to balance work life and my two littles with online learning and them trying to learn to type with one finger. Yeah. And technology and internet going in and out and running a business. So I'm pulling my hair out. I mean, my grays are probably showing, my roots are coming in, like whatever. So
It was a really bad time to opt for semi-permanent color at my last appointment. Let's just say that.
Oh my
No.
gosh.
No, how old are your kids, Melanie?
So I have a kindergartner and a first grader. So they're always like, mommy, mommy, mommy. Like, even if they go to the bathroom, they're like, mommy. And I'm like, I'm drinking my wine. You know, it's crazy. And not only that, but not a pity party or anything. It's fine. We're fine. But I had the whole house to myself before COVID. Then my husband worked at his job for 20 years, was laid off in January before all of this. So we're like, yeah, take your time, enjoy time with the family. Next thing you know, he's home, not getting a job. My kids are home. We have 3 dogs and his aunt living with us. And I'm trying to run a business. So it's just a little crazy right now.
Do you have a bigger glass?
Where's the bottle?
Yeah.
Amanda says, bless you.
That's a lot.
Yes, Amanda, for sure. I joke, and I mean, this comes from a place of privilege at this point, but I am so grateful that my kids are slightly older, that I don't have to. You know, I have one in 3rd grade and the other one's in high school. And so there's a mommy needs 10 minutes, but
Good. No, that's good. I mean, I'm really grateful for everything I have. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yes, but at the same time,
but it's relative. We need to give ourselves that grace and understanding, because I get like that too. I'll complain and be upset, and then I'll be like, but I know people have it worse. But I know this, and it's that almost makes it worse on ourselves. We make it harder on ourselves. It's like, you're allowed to say, this is hard right now. This is hard for me. This is not my normal. And then pick it up and keep going.
Well, I think this is a perfect segue into Audrey. You guys, I am so grateful that Audrey is here, because we all can say, yes, it has been really rough doing this and doing this and doing this for each and every one of us, because the news is that each of us have it rough, but in a different capacity. And we can't compare our story to somebody else's story. And I don't remember, somebody chime in if they remember this exactly, but I saw something the other day that it said, we're not all in the same boats. Like, each of us are in a different boat. We're on the same wave, but we're each in a different boat. And I think it's, you know, what may look really hard for me versus really hard for somebody else. My husband works in the restaurant industry, and so he's gone every single day, all day long, and it stinks. But at the same time, he has a paycheck coming in. You know, he has friends in the industry who don't have that luxury right now, or people that have lost their jobs because their stores have closed down permanently. So, you know, I say, yeah, it's rough on me at home because he's gone during the day and I'm trying to balance all the things, but at the same time, it's rough on him too. And it's rough on everybody else. So I think this is really, though, enlightening to kind of hear everybody else's stories. But Audrey is coming to share with us because, oh, girl, you have a very, very, very rough story, but it's a little bit different than anybody else that I know, because you've experienced COVID with loss of family, not once, but twice.
Yeah.
So do you want to kind of share your story?
Sure. Again, hello, I'm Audrey. I don't know if I said it earlier, but my company name is Rose Trail Images. So I am a mom to 2 littles. I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. I do photography full time. I've been doing it full time for like 3 years-ish, somewhere around there. So super grateful, absolutely love what I do, right? So I think that makes it even harder for us, like when we really love our job and then we can't do it anymore. And then I know for me personally, I was grieving my job for lots of reasons. So anyway, this year started out a little rough for us. My mother-in-law was sick, and so my husband was in Kansas a lot in January and a lot in February. The first week in March, I went to Palm Springs with a friend for a conference. It's called Alt Summit. I was there for about a day when I found out that my mother-in-law passed away. And so I he told me, hey, you know what, like you needed this week, so stay and like catch up with us. So I did. I stayed in Palm Springs for about 3 more days. I didn't really get like full benefits of it though, because I was kind of like the whole time, which is, if anybody knows me in real life, you know that I am like super positive, like very bubbly, like whoop whoop kind of person. So it was very abnormal for me to be feeling that way while in Palm Springs. I mean, she's Louise, right? So anyway, what I did was on the Friday night, I flew back home to Raleigh. Saturday morning, I got up really early, photographed a mitzvah that I had that day. I didn't know it was going to be my last one, but it was. And then straight from the mitzvah, I went straight to the airport, went to Kansas for a week for a funeral. And then when we got home, my kids were in school for 2 days before COVID started. And then just like everybody else, you know, like you're grieving your job for those of us who can't do what we do. And especially if we really love what we do, it's really difficult. Like I love my weddings. I love my events. I love photographing my families, like love it, right? And I couldn't do any of it. So we were getting bombarded with like celebrities and like emails saying, oh, we're good. Oh, you just gotta sit tight, hang out at home. Like you can do this. And I'm like, time out. You know, I am not like you. I am not like anybody else. Like we are all of our own individual people with our own individual feelings. I could be fine 1 minute and then like 5 minutes later, hear a song on the radio and all of a sudden I go, right? Like a smell could trigger it, like literally anything could trigger a mood swing, which is, again, if you know me, so not who I am. And I kept thinking to myself, if I am a super positive person and I'm feeling like this, I can only imagine how other people who aren't normally as positive as I am are feeling. And it was making me feel even worse because I'm an empath and I take on everybody else's feelings. So while I'm trying to figure all that out, about 2.5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, somewhere around there, my 98-year-old grandfather up in Massachusetts got COVID. And in about 3 days, that's all it took. He was in a hospital by himself, no family, we weren't around, couldn't be there. My parents moved out about 5 or 6 years ago to Hilton Head. So my mom couldn't be there either. She got to FaceTime with him, which was great. She got to do that once. And it sucked because you're like, okay, you know what? Let's think of it positively because that's who I am. I'm like, he's 98, right? He lived an amazing life. He got to see so many things. He got to see his great grandkids like get to like 8 and 10. I just saw him in November when I went, like, that's okay. But I kept thinking to myself, he's in a hospital by himself, like dying of this horrible disease that we don't know anything about. And he's by himself and we can't be there. Couldn't call him, couldn't do any of that. And I grieved and I was okay. Everything was okay. And then his funeral came around a few days later, which obviously I couldn't be at. They weren't letting people in from out of state to be at the funeral. So not only was I not able to be there, my mom and dad were not able to be there. My mom's brother, who lives in Florida, was not able to be there. So my sister was there, and along with some of my cousins and my aunt and uncle, and you know, she put us on FaceTime, so we got to see, and seeing all of my cousins stand like more than 6 feet apart from each other, like around a casket, watching it in my office right here, like right where I'm sitting. I was watching it on my computer screen like a movie. Like that's, I went from really, really sad to really, really, really angry, like angry at the world, angry at like whatever higher being you believe in. I was like, as futa to you, right? Like just no, none of it. I was I'm not the kind of person to write random like rants on Facebook, but I did because it made me feel better. And I was like, dear universe, F you. Which, you know, like we all feel it, whether you say it or not. That's pretty much how we're all feeling. And you know, yeah, so there's that. I am very fortunate that I have an amazing family, that, you know, we all pulled through for each other, and my kids are, you know, they're all right. I'll take them. They're good. You know, I have a great husband. My neighbors are family. So I'm super grateful. In the grand scheme of things, it could be a lot worse, right? Like we are lucky to be where we are. We could be in New York City. We could be up in Boston. You know, there's a lot of things that could be worse. And I have to keep reminding myself that, but you know what? Like, it just reminds me that we're all on these different paths, yet like every person that I talk to about my story and about how I was feeling beforehand with 1 minute I'm fine, the next minute I'm not. So many of us are feeling the exact same way, right? I had an entire conversation with a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, and I went off on a tirade, and I'm like, you know what? You don't listen to that email that's telling you to blog all the time. Don't listen to these people that are telling you that you need to do this and you have to do this and clean your house and lose all the weight and do all the workout and, oh, have wonderful family time with your children. You know what? No, if you're in a mood and you want to sit down and watch Netflix for 3 hours, I am right there with you, right? We're all in different paths. And so my path is I'm trying to be less angry. I'm getting better. You know, I'm trying to focus on the good things, like being able to start taking family photos really, really soon, which is great. I'm looking forward, I'm looking forward to when wedding season can start again because I really miss my couples. So there's lots of good things to look forward to. But damn it, this year sucks. So that's me.
Yes.
In a nutshell.
Yes. And
Cheers
you know,
to that.
cheers to that with my fizzy water. Cheers.
Woo.
You know what? And I think so your Screw the Universe post was so much better than my very carefully written Screw the Universe post last week.
Mine was not carefully written. Mine was
no,
a F you.
But it was beautiful and it was raw. And you want to know what I loved about it was, you guys, for those of you who don't know Audrey, she is literally like this little ray of sunshine that is smiley and giggly and happy, like all the time. Like I wish I could take a little bit of Audrey and bottle her up and take her home with me. I do. But to see that post, and I mean, it was from a place of mourning. It was just from a place of screw this. I'm mad at the world. I'm mad at all the things. And I think that's the problem with one of the reasons why I was so excited to have you come on and share was that my Screw the Universe, not really, just like I'm having a bad day last week, was I started talking to people and hearing these crazy, crazy lies. And these crazy, crazy lies were, well, but it's getting better. But they're telling us that we can start opening soon. But the statistics aren't as bad. Things are looking up. Like, how can you be sad and how can you be down when things are getting better? And I'm like, because I'm at my freaking wit's end, y'all. Like, I literally wrote in that post, I'm like, you want to know how bad it is? Check on your friends, because on the day when I literally can't keep it together long enough to take the food off the stove, that I have to fake that I am going to pee, to go to the bathroom, shut the door, put my back up against the door, cry for about 35 seconds, wipe it all away, go pick the food up off the stove before it burns and put it on the table and say, dinner's ready, guys. Like, this is the problem, is that people are saying it's this mindset of, well, things are getting better. You can't feel bad. You know, you had your time to feel bad before, but you can't now.
You are allowed to feel your feelings, no matter what they are. Your feelings are valid. And if I feel like I say that to somebody different every single day, because it's so true. Like whatever you're feeling, whether it's sad or angry or happy because you get to be home more often, or happy because like, you know, some people's jobs are actually booming because of this. Like, and that is wonderful. No matter where you are, your feelings are valid. Now, whether or not you stay in those feelings, I mean, that's a whole other topic that I'm sure Camy will help us get into. But
it's for Camy's helping us.
yeah, but
Well,
I love to remind people that those feelings are so valid.
Well,
How
and then
many-
even things like myself, I feel bad. I'm like, I haven't experienced loss. Like, I'm going to have a studio to go back to. I know people that aren't going to have their businesses to go back to. And I'm like, can I be sad? Yes, you can be sad. You can be upset. You can be mad. You can be angry. You can be all of the things. Because the point is that we're all going through these different things. And people can't tell us how to feel based off of how our story is different from somebody else's.
Right.
Go
How
ahead,
many
Kim.
of you have removed yourself from social media groups? I did a big sweep. I've snoozed people,
yes.
you know, that's a cool feature. Snoozed
Right.
people. I'm sure I've been snoozed. It's okay. I mean, I'm not very loud on social media, but I've snoozed people. And I've like gotten myself out of groups. Judgment is awful right now. And I just don't understand like the judgment. And it's like you're saying, we're all in the same storm, but we're in different boats. I can't fault somebody for feeling a certain way, but then don't fault me. It's just the judgment was, wow, it was intense, like worse than election season. It's just nasty, nasty comments that people made. I mean, I just had friends being connected to, well, if you feel this way, then you must, you know, wish people to die. It's like,
it's bull. It is bull is what it is.
bit of a stretch. Like,
Oh,
woo. Yeah. So I felt a lot better when I removed myself, and that's awful because sometimes, you know, those groups are helpful. They were, it's at one point they were informational, they were educational.
And people
There were, I got news from them, you know.
we
yeah.
rely on it for being social. It's like one of our social outlets. But at the same
Yeah.
time, you want to delete it because it brings you down. It makes you angry.
Because we can't leave our house. Like, we're social people. We need to be able to talk and see people, which is why I love Zoom. But you know what? At this point, there is nothing that I want to do more than give Audrey the biggest hug in the world, because she and I are huggers, and that's just how we do. And we're not okay right now because we need to hug. Literally in our house, we have had to start a thing. My daughter is a hugger too. That whenever she sees somebody from afar, she gets super sad because, again, serious hugger. We have to do a thing that mommy puts out her arms to whoever it is, and I receive an air hug. And then I, in turn, give that air hug to my daughter, which also means just basically squeeze her to death until she starts giggling so much that she stops crying. But I mean, yes, Melanie, you're right, because we need that social interaction. No offense, we love the people in our house, but we've spent a little bit too much time together lately. Right? Just a little. I want to get out and see other people. But at the same time, you go from in circles, you go from this point of having this community that you need to lift you up to, once, like you said, Kim, once it gets to that point where it's no longer helpful, it's hurtful, you just have to just sign off and let it go and just be like, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. Are you brushing your shoulders off? I love it. So I think one of the biggest things for me is, I will admit it, I'm a little bit of a control freak. Yeah, sorry, that's me. I'm a planner. Don't laugh, Kim. Kim knows, she knows how I roll. I'm a planner, and I like to plan things out because I feel like it gives me some sort of control in the world. You know, when you don't know what's going on tomorrow, you don't know what's going on next week, at least thank goodness from the release from Governor Cooper today, we have some guidance of what's going to happen next. But before, it was like, well, when is this actually going to happen? You know, is it going to be a week? Is it going to be 2 weeks? You know, Kim, you have an entire facility to clean and fix and do all the things. It's going to take time. And, you know, Audrey, you have to be able to talk to your clients of how you're going to be able to reschedule and when these things are going to happen. And when we don't have a way to control the things that we need to control, like, you have to find an outlet in order to help you navigate that. And one of the things that I'm really big on is goal setting. And the idea is that I like to do lists. I maybe like to do lists way too much. I love the satisfaction of checking off things and feeling like I can mind dump everything onto one page and say, all right, these are my top 5 things to do today. This is what I have to get done. But a lot of times I can get so stuck in those daily to-do tasks that I forget about that big picture. And so I use this goal planner from Laura Casey. For those of you in Bend Raleigh, Laura came and spoke to us at Illuminate. I think it was like 2015. She's incredible. Love her dearly. But what I love is that every single month, it makes me look at the big picture, like what really matters today, what's going to matter in the future. And so the beginning of last month, I was talking to a dear friend. She's like, I don't know what's going on. Yes. My planner's over there. I can't reach it without going out of frame. But yes, I chose flowers this year because I love flowers.
Girl, I got you. I got you. It's the teachers in us.
It is. The to-do lists are separate than the goal planner. Kim has her pencils too. But I was talking to a friend and she's like, I don't know what's going to happen with my store. I don't know how this is going to work. And I was like, girl, you got to set yourself some goals. Like, look at it positively. How can you spend the next month in this time of uncertainty, at least trying to get ahead somehow, whatever that looks like for you? And so I wrote down a list of things that I wanted to get done this month. And it was everything from, I am trying to nurse myself back after a knee injury. So it was get out and move every day. And move meant either I actually go for a run, or it was I go for a walk with the kids, or it was just going out and going gardening. It was just like me being physically intentional about going out and moving my body. I also made a goal to reach out to one person a day. But that looked different every single day. And sometimes it was me going and just texting somebody because I was like, I can't talk to anybody today. I can't do it. And for those days, I gave myself grace and just said, forget about it. But then some days it was a text that just said, hey, I'm thinking about you, love you, I'm here for you. And then other days it was full blown, I need to have a very long conversation. And I would FaceTime friends, or like the day before Easter, I was having a hard time because I've never missed an Easter without my family. And my family is always together for everything. And I literally sat on the floor and cried because I'm like, I miss my mom. I miss my family. And I miss being able to spend time with them. It was like, okay, what can I do in the meantime? On Easter, I FaceTimed my mom for probably an hour and a half. And we walked through outside and we talked about the garden, and she sat there while I cooked my own family's Easter meal, which she's usually the one doing. But those were the things I said, all right, what can I do in this month that I can make a difference? But it looked different every single day. And then I also gave myself grace that when it wasn't going to happen, it just wasn't going to happen. So I think that's really important. At least now we kind of have some guidance of what our next month may look like. But that's all dependent on how these numbers look and whether or not everything is going to keep looking better, because there's also a good chance, I don't want to be a pessimist, but want to be a realist, that if crazies go out into the world, I'm going to knock on wood right here.
How dare you bring this up? Stop it.
It's real. It's real, girl. I know. But, we also have to be prepared. What happens in 2 weeks if we can't move on to phase 2? So this is where I kind of challenge you guys to go through and look at the things that you say, okay, what can I do during this time? But at the same time, giving yourself a lot of grace and just making tiny goals to find, I'm in place A to B, I'm in place A right now. What is it going to take me to get to B tomorrow? And there were days where I woke up and I'm like, I can't do this today. I can't. I just can't. I am checked out. So long. See you guys later. But you know what? The very next morning I woke up and I'm like, okay, let's try this again. Mm-hmm. How can we make today wasn't successful? How can we make tomorrow better? But then, you don't want to look back the opposite way and say, oh, well, yesterday was a great day and now I'm having a crappy day. Like, what am I failing at? And I think Camy shared something with Audrey and I on the call. By the way, you guys, when Audrey and Camy and I got on a call before we were getting on this call, we were like all the good things. So Camy, can you talk about kind of how this really stuck with me, talking about just changing your mindset, shifting it just 1%. Because Camy talked about, I always think about how make things better, making things better doesn't go from being depressed to being angry. I was like, you can do that. And she's like, oh man, you can totally do that. So can you kind of share with that? Because to me, that was mind-blowingly genius.
Sure. And thank you, everybody, especially Audrey, for sharing your story. I think it's so important for people to know and understand what each other are going through, because there is such thing as spiritual bypassing, which is a technique that people use. Like, everything's great, everything's positive, and we're not allowing the emotions to be felt. So I want to recognize, like, feeling the emotions is important, and they're meant to be felt, and they're meant to pass through us. What can happen is we create a story about the emotion, and then that emotion lives with us beyond 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then becomes our natural state. So there is a purpose of emotions, but when we create a story, which we can create all kinds of stories, right? We could create a story down the vibrational scale of emotions, down the dark, deep hole, like nothing's ever going to get better, or we can create it just to what I call acceptance, which is like, it is what it is. And if we can get to acceptance, I actually have, this is a vibrational scale of emotions. I have it on my computer. I have it on my screen. This is helpful for me when I'm coaching people, because usually we're so distracted, we're not aware of our emotions. And now we're alone with ourselves, and we're very aware of our emotions because we're alone with ourselves, with our families, in close proximity, and the emotions are bubbling up. So
tell us what that is a little bit more, Camy.
This is called the vibrational scale of emotions.
I see rainbow colors and just rainbow colors.
Yes, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to actually read it to you, but they can measure in hertz the vibration that an emotion puts off, right? So like you all know science and physics, right? They can measure vibration just like sound. And when you're down here at the bottom, so I'll just read some of the emotions to you: fear, grief, insecurity, guilt, unworthiness. But let's say you're down in one of those deep, dark places. If you even shift to jealousy of like, well, so-and-so has it better, that is actually a 1% shift. So that's actually you progressing on the scale of emotions, even though it's still a lower vibration, you're still working up the scale. So I like to use this, number one, to become aware, because what we resist persists, right? If we resist it, we're like, well, I don't want to feel this way. The longer we resist it, it's going to stick with us. It's going to stay with us. Then it's longer because we didn't deal with the emotion. So cry, do what you need to do, punch a pillow, go out for the walk, allow the emotion to pass through, and then just ask how you can shift. The place, I'll read kind of some of these: jealousy, hatred, rage, anger, discouragement, that's still moving up. Blame, worry, doubt, disappointment, you're still moving up. Once you get to about overwhelmment here, that's even overwhelmment is still progressing, right? Because you're like, well, I have all these things to do, but I don't know how to do them. But at least you're in overwhelmment, right? And you can start to get into frustration and patience.
You're telling me that being frustrated is a good thing?
You're like, I'm doing great. Yes.
You guys.
Yes.
I'm succeeding in life. Oh,
So
don't
this
tell my
is-
husband. He's going to die. He's going to be like, you in a place of frustration is not a good thing.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. You're like, well, it's better than guilt and unworthiness. Come on, I'm winning, right?
But okay, because see, this is why when you told me this is why I love this. And girls, feel free to chime through and tell me kind of some of these emotions. And you guys over on Facebook, tell me too. I think that was always until Camy started telling me about this was, you know, I looked at all of these as like, you had negative emotions and then you have positive emotions, and being overwhelmed or being angry or being sad were all kind of the same crappy space. Like you were either in a crappy space or you were in a good space, or you're kind of like, I'm in an all right space today.
Truth. All the truths right there. That's what I
So
thought as well.
overwhelmed is only halfway up.
Yeah. You're like, I'm doing great.
I know. Well, but I mean, for me, that makes me feel better that it's something up. It's just that little bit of a shift in mindset.
I like to think of it as 1%. And there's a really good book out there that kind of explains it, I think, in a very simple way. It's called The Power by Rhonda Barnes. She's the same person that wrote The Secret. But a tool that I use with my clients, when you can't control things, like we can't control a lot of what's going on, but what you can control is like, what do I love? What makes me happy? And if that means looking at puppy videos or watching baby goats in pajamas, that's what I'm going to do today because it makes me feel better. Yes, baby goats in pajamas, anytime.
Camy, that's funny that you say that, because that's exactly what I was going to say. What helped me was when I finally got into a good space, I wrote down a whole list of things that made me happy. And I did it when I was in a good space so that I could remember all the good things, so that on a day or moment, right? Because let's be honest, I was feeling crappy, I would look on my list and be like, okay, you know what? Music makes me really happy. So as long as I'm not listening to like something sad and depressing or Dean Martin that reminds me of my grandfather, then we're good to go. So I love that you said that, because that's exactly what I was going to say.
Well, and it also comes to, and thank you for sharing that. I think that's a good tool for anybody to use, but it's also, let's say you wake up, you have a bad day, and you just check in with yourself and you're like, where am I at on the scale of emotions? And you're just like, you know what? I'm in anger and it feels good and I want to stay here all day. You can also do that. Like, you can also just choose, this day, I'm going to be mad all day. This is what I want.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving that permission, because, Kim has something to say too. Kim, you're actually muted. Oh no, you're unmuted now. There are days where I'm just like, today I'm going to be angry. And again, I love my husband, but he's like, what can we do to fix it? I'm like, we're not fixing angry today. I'm just going to be angry and it's going to be okay. And then the next morning he'll go to work and he'll send me like a text, because, you know, he'll go to work before I get up. He's like, how are we feeling today? And I feel like the kids movie where I'm like, which emoji should I choose today?
You could actually do that.
I'm like,
you could have put an emoji on the fridge to like warn your husband, like, this is where we're at today. Here's my emoji.
That's funny.
Don't ask me if it has a mad face.
I know, right? What were you gonna say, Kim?
Interesting. When all this was happening, you just made me realize there's something big. I would constantly say I was going through the stages of grief. Because I kept saying, you know, I was like, it was sad, it was, you know, upset, and I was like angry. And then I turned around, I'm like, I'm taking that anger, I'm using that anger. But I kind of like if I would reverse that and say that I'm working my way up from a place as opposed to working my way down from a place, it allows it to be way more positive and it allows me to keep going up. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I didn't realize what I was doing.
Well, and we are all grieving something in this time, right?
Yeah.
Like, we all lost the opportunity to do some things. They may be bigger or smaller, right? And that's where comparison becomes a trap, where it's like, we're all going through something personally.
Yeah.
And it will be a grief of a job, an actual physical person, the opportunity to go out and hug someone. So we're all sitting in those areas, and they might hit us, just like Audrey said, throughout the day.
But thinking of it more as you're going up the scale,
Yes.
1% at a time, as opposed to down, can change that mindset.
Right.
Dramatically.
Because then you just continue to beat yourself up and you stay in this negative loop.
Yeah.
So
And then I was confused at what state I was in and what phase.
Yeah. So if you're
Wait, did I go down? Did I go up?
Yes.
What are the stages of grief? I don't know.
if you're curious though where the shift is, I want to, because I know some people, I work with high achievers. So you guys are like, how do I win? How do I win this game? So like, what is winning? So right at the shifting point, there's 3 emotions: courage, neutrality, willingness, and acceptance. They kind of go right in a row. So I would say courage is even just the awareness to look at what you're going through, right? And just being aware. Neutrality is just like, and acceptance is just like, this is what it is. I'm willing to move forward in whatever way that looks like. But if you can get to any of those 4 emotions, you are in the transition point up into higher vibrations. And the reason why I say it's fine if you want to be angry all day, it's great. I mean, do what you want to do. Everybody has their own personal choice. And I think that's what Amber and Venrali did so great in this, is we all have our own choices to make, right? And I think having a community that supports your own choices, your own individuality, your own processing is really important. And snoozing the people who don't, snoozing the people who are triggering you, right? But the reason I say this vibrational scale, I don't know how many people believe in the law of attraction. I don't think you necessarily have to believe in it, but I'm sure that you have experienced it. If you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, having a bad day, then you stub your toe, then you spill your coffee, then you yell at your kid, that's kind of how the day goes, right? It's just a snowball effect in that downward spiral. Well, the same thing can happen in the upward spiral, where if you just get 1% more positive, you're like, dang it, I stubbed my toe. And you're like, let me just take a moment. Like, okay, that really hurts. Recenter, refocus, and then you can shift that energy by 1%. So you kind of have a choice on what you attract by the emotional state that you're in, right?
What about
Camy, this one's, oh, go ahead, Sam.
Oh, that's okay. So when we're moving through those states, a lot of it, I carry guilt. I have like mom guilt, wife guilt, me guilt. Like if I start making myself feel better by doing the stuff that takes care of me, and I know you're supposed to put your face mask on first before you take care of everyone else, like I still have that guilt.
You're not alone.
Mom guilt is a
You're
real
not
thing.
alone in any of that feeling. Like I am right here to tell you that I feel all of those things. And when my 8-year-old comes running in every 7 minutes, because yes, I have timed him, and I say, go, I love you, but you can go make your own mac and cheese cup. You're fine. I have to remind myself, like, it's okay for me to stay in my office and keep doing what it is that I'm doing. Like, he's fine. Girl, I got you.
It's hard because we as anyone who is in that caregiver role immediately will take care of everyone else except for themselves. I talk about like when these things first started, like when COVID first started coming, like I put my own photography business aside. Like my people didn't hear from me for weeks on end because I was so busy reaching out to all of these other people, because I was like, oh, if I help them do this, this is going to help them be able to move forward. Or, hey, I could, help so-and-so do X, Y, and Z, and this is going to help them get a leg ahead of doing this. And then I finally looked back a couple weeks later and said, oh my gosh, like I haven't even taken care of my own business, let alone my own household. I realized that all of a sudden I hadn't vacuumed my house in a month.
It's okay.
Real talk. And I was like, you know what? We're not going inside and outside too much. And I have 2 pit bulls, so they don't really shed that much. And I was like, yeah, we'll be all right. I don't care. And I think that's where we all just, again, have to give ourselves a little bit of grace, because as caregivers in any capacity, whether it's, caring for your business, caring for your family, caring for a significant other, or even just caring for your friends, is that sometimes it's really, really hard because you put yourself out there over and over and over again. And if you don't take that time for yourself, you're going to end up in a crying mess on the floor. And if you do, that's okay. But then Camy, let's mind shift that way.
Yeah. Well, I have two suggestions. And Melanie, I teach a 6-week course on this. It's called Self-Love Perfectionist Project. So I can't exactly like give you all of it in one sentence, but I'm going to try. And I'm not a mom. I'm just like a dog mom, and I want to adopt every animal in the world. And I do have a stepson. So in that role I am. But what I find the guilt coming around is my husband is military. He is only really going in half day, and then he's at home and he's about to deploy, and he wants to spend time with me. And I'm like, but I have a business and you want this to be successful. We all want this to be successful. And me spending time with you is not going to help this business be successful, right? To where we want it to be. So I experiencing that same thing in terms of him wanting to like watch a movie with me at noon. And I'm like, I just came down for lunch. I have to go back to work. So part of it is boundaries, right? But part of it too is having like a clear vision, and then sharing that vision with your kids, your husband, like letting them know what it is you are working on, especially if you're working from home. Like, what is it that you're actually doing in there? That's the question I always get. Like, what do you even do? I don't know. I just post videos online, right? But the other thing is this sense of worthiness, of feeling like we deserve it. And so what I teach is creating a worthiness statement. Like, write a letter to your kids, like how much you love them, how worthy they are of all the love, attention, care, everything. But then turn it around and write that letter to yourself, and let that be your mantra for yourself. Like every morning you wake up, you read that letter to yourself, because you would of course tell your kids, you're worth it. You're worth all the time. I love you so much. But we have a hard time turning around on ourselves and be like, you're worth it. You need to spend time with yourself. You are worth, like, so I would write a love letter to yourself, and your own, let that be your own little journaling practice.
That's so hard. That's so hard. I love that thought.
It's a practice.
That is so hard.
It's a practice. If you commit to practicing it and actually journaling it, there's also some forgiveness practices that I would highly recommend. There's something called Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian prayer. There's like a 30-minute meditation that you can find on YouTube. I can even post the links in there. But we, especially as high achievers, right? We always want to do everything. And pretty much at the end of the day, we're like, I didn't do enough for anyone ever. And that builds up over time. So practicing self-forgiveness is a big part of the process as well, of just like sitting with yourself, being like, I feel like I let myself down today. I forgive myself. It's okay. I'm not perfect. There's literally no way for me to be perfect. And practicing forgiveness, like repeatedly. This is what I did. So I went on a retreat to Bali for 4 days. I was there for a total of 10 days. And this is where I really solidified my life coaching. And I went there to work on my business, and we did forgiveness practices for 4 days. And I was like, I didn't come here for this. I want to run my business. So I've lived through this of like, this is so hard. I don't want to. Like, I want to keep being perfect. I want to keep wearing a mask. I don't want to show up authentically. I don't want to do the things. But when I'm sitting here in a room with millionaires being like, this is the part of you becoming the person you want to become, I'm like, fine, I guess I'll give it a try. So I share it lightheartedly because I know there's resistance that comes up when you start to step into these practices. But if you write a love letter to yourself and read it to yourself in the mirror, I'm just saying, if that doesn't change your life, come back and tell me.
Can you shake Audrey right now, because she's having a moment?
I'm very uncomfortable with giving myself praise and giving myself forgiveness and giving myself love and telling myself that I'm worthy. I have a really good friend of mine who actually gave me a necklace last fall, and it's got 2 little words on it, and one says badass because boom. The other one says worthy. And she's like, you need this, like, you need to remind yourself that like you are worthy. And so I wear it every once in a while to try to remind myself. But and I know I'm not alone out there when I say like that is really hard. I don't know if it's the Italian guilt like built into me or what, but that is definitely something that I will have to work on. So thank you for putting that bug up my butt. Yes. Because maybe I speak for other people. I don't know, but that
you absolutely do. I have a tattoo of a 9 on my wrist to signify being a 9 is okay. I don't need to be a 10.
I love it.
Oh, I was like, is that an Enneagram thing, or Enneagrams only go to 8?
I know. I totally thought it was an Enneagram thing too. I'm like 2 and 3. What?
What does your necklace say, Amber?
This one is it says I am enough.
Yes.
And some days when I need it, I'm like, we're gonna wear the necklace today because I need to remind myself. And then I'm like, oh, what does it say down there? Like, y'all, my husband's not a big fan of tattoos. I have a handful of them. We're getting a new tattoo.
I have one that yes.
It will say enough by Grace.
Yeah.
Now it's out there into the world. He's gonna kill me, but you know, it's okay.
Do it. Mine says focus on the good.
Oh my gosh, is that an aperture ring?
It sure is.
We're such photography nerds. Abby says, I do this with women at the women's prison, a self-compassion letter. Many find it super hard. It not be weird, but hard. Totally normal.
Yeah. Good. Nice to know.
Okay, I think we all need to tell ourselves a little something today.
And if you want to take it simple, let's do a simple step. So there is the top therapist in the UK. Her name is Marissa Peer. She says one simple thing on your mirror, write it in lipstick, write it in dry erase marker, just write, I am enough. That's it. You'll look at it every single day. When you wake up, you brush your teeth.
I'm going to write it on a sticky note right now. Yep. I'm doing it. You see me doing this.
Wear it on a necklace, tattoo it on yourself. I mean, it's all the same thing, right?
Because it's human nature, especially women, but it is human nature that we think we need to achieve things in order to be worthy.
I did it. Thank you, Camy.
You're welcome. Thank you for stepping up and doing something uncomfortable in front of everyone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is video recorded forever, isn't it? All right, I have my post-its here. Does this mean we're all doing this? We're all doing this. If I can find it.
I wrote it doesn't mean that I quite believe it yet, but if I keep looking at it every day, just like you say.
It is true.
Kim doesn't have a post-it note.
Let me give you something real quick. This is for everybody. A belief is simply something that we've repeated over and over again. So if we've spent 30 years repeating, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, we have to repeat the opposite. Yes.
Going on the big screen over here.
You're so
Camy is so smart. Camy is so smart.
It's just because my life became to a point where I needed to change. And I was like, I can't live like this anymore. I was very angry. I was a moody person. I was not a nice person. My life was not going in the direction I wanted to. So I said,
Perfectionism.
I looked in the mirror and went, who's responsible for this? I got fired 3 times in the past 5 years. It's probably all those same jobs. It probably wasn't me.
It was all those bosses. It was all their fault. It wasn't my fault, right?
Yes.
No. Oh my
No,
gosh.
it was taking ownership, personal responsibility, and then doing the work because leaders go first, doing the uncomfortable thing that made me want to throw up repeatedly. Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is so awesome. This is exactly how I wanted to spend my evening with all of you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Camy. Thank you, Audrey, for coming up and sharing your hearts with us. And our girls from the community, thank you for joining us. Does anybody have anything last that they want to share before we sign off? Because I think we're all going to check out tonight and go get some rest, right? Nobody's going to go back to work tonight, right?
I'm not vacuuming. I'm not cleaning.
I will take that. I have laundry all over my bed, so I got to do that at least to get into bed because
I'm gonna eat dinner.
Oh, Kim always.
I know. I eat all the time. This is rare. I know.
Kim always eats. Kim likes the small meals.
I do.
Everyone has to watch the 11 o'clock news on ABC 11. Because my is going to be on it.
Oh, really?
Really
awesome.
On the 11 o'clock. Okay. So I will have to watch it later because I don't have cable.
I don't know.
Kim was on the news for Warrior Tech a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, send me the link because I don't have cable.
It's on our Facebook
page.
I know, that's how I saw it was because
I was like weeks ago.
No, I saw yours weeks ago, girl.
Yeah. What are you on the news for?
Yeah, tell us about it.
So I was on 2 weeks ago for just small business, whatever.
Okay.
And then they did a follow-up story, and I'm pretty sure it's because I'm not opening. And so that's super awkward because like Jessica with Little Details was on there too. And then they went over to Swagger, which is also open. And I'm like, I can't win. Like I'm going to get flack from customers for being closed. I'm going to get flack from customers being open. I look like a jerk to the other owners if I'm closed and I'm like going against what they're doing if they're opening. So like I literally cannot win.
You're not going to be a joke. People are going to feel like they connect with you because they understand why you're doing what you're doing. And if they know that, hey, I am not open yet because I personally don't feel comfortable with this. Like, I mean, I think at this point in time, everybody is just going to respect that. I don't think anybody's going to be mad at you in any way. No. And if they are, you don't want them anyway.
Well, don't give people that much credit. Like, don't give them space. Don't give them space.
Right.
I have
don't own their feelings. You do you because you have to.
You're not the only boutique that's opening. I have another friend who literally straight up was like, listen, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable with people coming into my space. And, you know, to her point too, is it was like, people are coming in and shopping. They might touch this. They might touch that. How are you supposed to clean all those things that you don't know people that are touching? You are in the business where literally people want to touch everything in your store. You can't have classes. People are touching all the things. You're not the only one who's not going to open. And you know what? You can keep telling all of the people who follow you and all the people that you love that I'm not ready yet. And I think they'll be okay.
You know, I mean, no two boutiques are alike. So all the boutiques are different in what they sell, how they work, how they clean. That's the same as gyms. We're not all the same. We're completely different. I'm not anything like a regular gym. Yeah. So that's what's kind of annoying too in the phases. I wish it was more personal and I wish we could do a little more of our own judgment as opposed to doing what we're told, because that's just it. You're not the same as everybody else. And so you shouldn't have to feel like you have to do what everybody else does. You have to do what your business needs to do.
Right. Laura, Abby says, no, you are doing what you need to for your business. You are not responsible for other people's judgments. You are so awesome. Katie Berry says, you do what you do, girl. You do what you feel comfortable. And us girls at the Doodling Bug aren't opening up either.
Yeah. Do you mind if I give you a little coaching around this?
I need all the coaching.
Okay. So this is something that's really powerful. And I think anybody can use this. And everybody demonstrated it on this call today. When we're in alignment with our values and when we show up powerfully within our values, it's very simple. And this has to do with, you know, structuring your household, setting boundaries there, setting boundary with reopening. When you position it, it's not, I don't feel comfortable. It is, one of my top values is family. I have small children at home. I'm sure you understand what it's like. I mean, and then people are going to come towards you because they align with your similar values. Yes, I have small children at home too. I love you. How can I support you? So by you stepping up, saying, these are my values, this is what's important to me, and here's how I'm going to move forward. People cannot, like to Kim's point, people cannot impose their values upon you, right? Everyone's values are equally important, and we build our communities based off of our values aligning.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
Owning your own business, right?
Mm-hmm. And so not apologizing about it, right? And just being like, these are my values. This is important to me and my community. I would love to continue to move forward with you who would like to support me. Here's how you can support me in these ways.
We have to understand that not everyone's going to want to come back into our businesses, even if we open.
Right.
So if my business is set to open on June or May 22nd, I open my doors, I can't be mad at those that don't want to come in. I need to respect that and help them in the ways, which is why we've pivoted our business to do other things and offer obstacles for people to buy, to put in their own backyards, because they might not want to come in. But I could still open for those people that do want to come in. It's like, it's feeding the spectrum. And I have trouble with this. So maybe that's why I'm saying it,
Right,
so that
right.
I could also do it.
But you can also, but Kim,
Being
you can also highlight your value of cleanliness even more. Like that's always been a value, but maybe people didn't realize how much you clean and how much you always have cleaned. And it's probably going to bring out more people who are more like you and build that deeper culture and community of people who are more like you, who are like, it's clean, I'm ready, let's work out.
That doesn't agree that kids are gross. Yes.
Yeah, and kids are gross.
Marketing.
And you're probably going to have some t-shirts that say kids are gross or something, right?
Oh
Like
no, her t-shirts are amazing.
Yes.
Are the new t-shirts in yet?
The what? The latest batch? No, because we
know.
just closed the order on Friday.
I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
know. They're in the printer. We got a lot of fun. I love our community. Oh God, I love our community.
I just wanted to say one thing too before we hopped off.
Yes.
I do know that there are people out there who are in a position like me who have lost someone and can't go to the funeral. I have a friend who like a week later lost her 98-year-old grandmother, you know, and the same thing happened. So I just want to let people know that if anybody, like if that is happening to somebody out there in our community and they just need, you know, like to talk to somebody who feels like they understand, please send me a message, shoot me a message, because I mean, I've always been like a cheerleader for other people, no matter what, but this is a special circumstance. And I feel like, at least in our area, there's not a lot of us who are affected in that way. So I just want to reach out and make sure that people who are affected like that they have someone to talk to. So if you need someone to talk to, I'm right here. I may make you laugh because that's kind of how I roll, but I am here for anybody who needs a shoulder to cry on, or, you know, like a drinky drink or whatever. I'm really good at getting you ice cream as well. So whatever. I just want to make sure that people know that I'm here if they need me.
Yes. Okay. To that point, can everybody go around real quick and let everyone know where they can find you at? So if they do want to connect with you later, or follow up with you, or ask you questions about anything, or just say, hey, I'm super excited to finally meet the face behind this business, and I just want to start following you. Audrey, can you tell everyone where they can find you at?
Sure. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, both at Rose Trail Images. You can also email me at audrey@rosetrailimages.com. I will answer to anything. You can find me on Google and give me a call if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. So I'm not good at the phone, but for you, I will do it.
Love you so much. Camy, where can everybody find and connect with you at?
They can connect with me on my website. I actually created a journal for you guys too, which I wanted to mention. It's called Journaling the Vibrations. So now that you know what the vibrations are, it's just an easy free download that you can grab, maybe just to create some awareness. So if you go to camykennedy.com/links, you will find the pink button there to just grab your download. And you can connect with me on Instagram or Facebook at Camy Kennedy. I also give away free breakthrough calls. So if you just want to hop on the phone, create some clarity, I'm open to doing that for you as well.
Awesome. Camy, when we're done, can you go in the comments of the live stream on Facebook and drop that in there for everybody so they can find it? Awesome. All right, I'm going to go hit our community ladies real quick. Melissa, where can everybody find you at?
They can find me on Instagram, Frugal Mom, Adventures of Frugal Mom on Facebook, and on Twitter, MMG Mom 3, and also my blog, adventuresoffrugalmom.com.
Perfect. All right, Miss Kim, where can we find you? I know where to find you.
Unmute.
Oh, you're muted.
Kim, you're muted. She says moment.
Do you find yourself in real life, like sitting in front of somebody and making sure you're super silent? Because this whole stupid online Zoom stuff, like you can't have your mic on. And then I'm like, oh wait, this is a conversation.
We're talking. Thanks for muting yourself out of my conversation. I'll still love you. Where can we all find you at, Kim?
So on Instagram, I'm Warrior Tech Kim, or Warrior Tech _Kim. Tech is TECH because it's Warrior Tech OCR. And then it's Kimberly Siginson for Facebook.
Awesome. All right, Laura, where can we find you at?
We're at Adventures in Bloom NC on Instagram, and then Adventures in Bloom on Facebook.
Perfect. All right, and what about you, Miss Melanie? Where can we find you at?
You can find me at Melanie Smalley, like the word small, EY at the end, Melanie Smalley Media. That is Facebook and Instagram. If you go to my Instagram, I offer some free, not if you go to Instagram, if you go to my website, melaniesmalley.com, I offer some free Instagram tips for hashtags and a 30-day calendar of what content to post for your business.
Awesome. You're still going to come teach for us, right? Okay. All right, you guys. And again, if you, hopefully, for those of you who are at Bend Raleigh right now watching via the live stream on Facebook, make sure that you follow our page. Also, if you are not in one of our community groups so far, reach out to us. We have these amazing groups that are for pretty much every different type of industry that we have out there. We have professional photographers, we have coaching, we have direct sales. We have all the different things. You can find them all on our website, or you can just email me at amber@bendraleigh.com and we can find you a home in those. It's just a really great place to meet with other women that are in your industry that you can really connect to on a much different level. And we have some great leaders that are in there with lots of questions and interactions throughout the week, which is a lot of fun. So if you have not already, give us a shout. We'll get you in one of those groups. But we will be back for community chat again next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And we'll be doing this every single week for the month of May. So also, if you're not signed up for our newsletter, you can do that directly from our Facebook page or from the website, and we'll be sending out notifications and details on those. And we are at Bend Raleigh on Instagram and Bend Raleigh on Facebook and Bend Raleigh on Twitter. Works out well. All right, you guys, thank you everyone that was here on the call with us tonight. We loved having you be a part of it. And to all of those over in Facebook land, we love you too. Thank you so much for joining the conversation tonight. Love you guys. Have a good night and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.